Let's quit fucking around. Prager poo. Bet you guys haven't heard that one before, have you? Prager poo? Yeah, I woke up pretty early to think of that one. It's pretty high quality. Whatever the case may be, I've actually held off on doing this video because I find the subject like super boring. Normally when PragerU makes a video, it's 100% wrong. Like 100, and I can go over it, like every single point is like factually wrong. We can go and fact check them, or maybe the points they're making aren't factual, but they're just incredibly misleading, blah, blah, blah. But this is a video shitting on college, and well, I also have problems with college. Not with the concept, of course, you know, I'm educated myself. I'm glad I was educated. Don't know if it was worth the debt, but you know, but I have a problem with the institutions, and PragerU, I assume, I haven't watched the video, is going to express problems with the institutions as well, and that leads to nuance. And it's difficult to respond to a video series as holistically stupid as PragerU with nuance, but I'm going to try my best, okay? I'm going to do it for you guys. Before I go into it, though, I guess I'll just share my college experiences. I went for 2 years to a community college, and then during that time and a little bit afterwards, I worked to save up money so I would be able to afford to finish the rest of my 2 years in university without having to work during that time. Working and doing school at the same time is grueling and nightmarish. I don't recommend it for anyone, though it is unfortunately a necessary reality for many. And there are a lot of problems with school in this country, with you know, higher university. For example, we treat university as jobs training, which it fails miserably at. We assign it that responsibility, and then we fail to, you know, hold ourselves to it. If university is meant to be job training, I think that's a little bit bleak to begin with, but even then it's really not. I can't tell you how many people I've met, even in the technical fields, who have told me that while they did learn some basics in university, by far most of what they learned came from on-job training. And this can be even more the case for people like me. I studied sociology. Everything that I learned in school, I could have learned online, you know, hypothetically. University isn't valuable so much for the actual information it gives you in an internet era. It's more important for the resources it gives you, the connections it gives you, the environment it places you in, which gives you an opportunity to maximize your ability to make the use of the resources provided there. That's what college is good for. Also, like, fucking around and getting drunk. Like, you know, you can have a lot of fun. You really can. But there are a lot of problems. University costs have skyrocketed. University isn't getting better. Why are university costs skyrocketing? It's certainly not to pay the teachers. Teachers get paid jack shit. Now, the actual technicalities behind why university is getting more expensive but less accessible and less, I guess, productive. There's complicated. There's a variety of institutional academic costs behind the scenes. It's, hey, listen, I'll spoil it for you, okay? You know, a little bit of a spoiler right off the bat, okay? It's capitalism. This capitalism is involved. Yeah, I knew. Big shocker. Let's get to it, huh?
Hey, I've got a great investment.
Holy shit! PragerU, don't at me like this. What the fuck? Jesus. Yeah, maybe like 100 pounds ago.
Idea for you. You give me $100,000 and 4 years of your life, and I give you, pretty much nothing.
All right, I see where we're going with this. I don't think most university tuitions cost $100,000. I think they tend to range between, for 4 years, between 30 and 50,000. Am I off on this? I think that's correct. I think if you're looking for $100,000 tuition, you're probably looking for postgraduate education as well.
No, I'm not the devil.
Oh.
I'm Mr. College.
Oh.
And I'm here to help you finance this wonderful opportunity.
We're going to be looking for signs of anti-intellectualism in this video. Notice, I critique colleges all the time. I really do. Like, trust me, okay? I really do. I'm not some snobby intellectual who thinks that, like, all academia is, like, gate-kept behind the tuition fee, all right? I'm not, by any means. However, it's very easy for criticisms of college to slip into criticisms of academia as a concept. And that's a problem, because academia and education are foundationally essential principles to modern liberal democracy. Keeping people educated and constantly raising that bar of education is one of the reasons why our society has functioned so well up to this point. So let's roll through. Roll Tide!
I have a whole package of government loans and impressive sounding scholarships to make it all possible. Of course, you'll have to pay interest on the loans, which will double the cost over time. But that's a problem for future you, and need not concern us now. Do we have a deal?
Yes.
Of course we do. You want to succeed in life, don't you? How can you do that without a college degree? But that doesn't mean you can't have a good time. Are you a movie fan? We've got a degree for that. How about criminal justice? Be like one of the cool people on the TV detective shows. And
I get where we're going here. We're going to be arguing against the superfluity of college degrees. Guys, do you want to know something interesting? There is actually, as of this moment, a higher demand for high-skill education, high-skill training. There is a higher demand for this than there ever has been in the history of the human race. Never before has there been such a need on an economic, institutional, social level for people who are highly educated. This is one of the reasons why America gets blown the fuck out in general education when compared to other European countries, China, what have you. The reason why, amongst other things, is because we don't invest in and take seriously educational institutions, which is exactly what PragerU is about to do right here. I can feel it. They've got the two. You do it in rules of three. Do you like movies? Criminal justice? What's coming up next? I'm ready.
And we offer a whole selection of minority and gender studies programs. Learn why you're a victim and deserve to be angry all the time.
I'm so fucking smart. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, for one, very, very small portion of people who go to college, gender studies and sociology and what have you. For two, these fields, I know they may trigger the conservative. I know it must be very upsetting to see people studying these things and learning terms like white privilege. But these people have actually been essential in the foundations of civil institutions for the past century. Everything from law to marketing to advertising, everything from civil service work to planning to psychiatry to doctoral work to ethics boards for scientific institutions. All of these things require the work of people who studied social sciences, including those feared gender studies and African American studies degrees. You know? Again, this is another common anti-intellectual criticisms of universities. Rather than criticizing the substandard performance of our institutions, rather than criticizing them for being overpriced, for being scams, we criticize them for allowing people to pursue the degrees that they are interested in. That's a little bit fucked up. I mean, if a person wants to spend money to learn about gender studies, I'm sorry, I thought I lived in fucking America. The good old US of A. There's red, white, and blue in my outfit right now. Right? Right? We're good? We're repping it? I'm sorry. I thought we should have the freedom to do those things. If you think too many people are going into those fields, well, I'm sorry. It's the invisible hand. Really, though, a lot of people complain that too many people are going into these fields. I don't see how. I don't really think there's an empirical way of determining that. Now, there might be market shortages or surpluses that occur sometimes with people with varying fields of education. But all of these things are very tangential to the actual problems with college, but they're essential if your actual goal is not to improve college as a concept, but rather to dismiss many people who go to college and study subjects you don't like as effeminate, intellectual snobs who are divorced from the needs and realities of the common American. If that was your goal, complaining incessantly about gender studies degrees would be an excellent idea.
What are you waiting for? Sign on the dotted line. Classes begin in the fall. Don't miss orientation, especially if you're male. You don't want to be parading your toxic masculinity around the campus. Definitely not cool.
Enjoy the projection. I went to some pretty lib-cucky campuses. I was never told that in my fucking life. Don't go to college, boys. You see, in orientation, they put sandwich boards over the necks of all the men, and the sandwich boards will say, potential rapist, and you have to wear it every single day for the first month your time there as a freshman if you are a man. Of course, you can get out of it by saying you identify as a woman, at which point they will remove the sandwich board and allow you to place it on someone else. Okay, all right, yeah, okay, sure. I mean, I've been to university. I know what it's like.
Sound crazy?
Ha! What's up, Charlie? Hey, guys. Speaking of fucking fail sons, Charlie Kirk dropped out of college and started his TPUSA shit at 18 after receiving grant from his wealthy daddy and all of the fucking dark money conservatives who fund money into projects like his. Hey, what's up, Charlie Kirk? Hey, tell me what's wrong with university apart from the fact that it was too hard for you.
I don't know why it should. Millions of college students make that deal every year.
Damn.
Usually with their parents' encouragement and financial support.
Damn.
Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against going to college. I sincerely
Except when it's you doing it.
believe it can be a worthwhile pursuit under the right circumstances.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is actually really weird. After seeing his face shrunk in so many memes, his face looks too big for his head now. It's actually really, really weird.
If you want to be a doctor or an architect, for example, it's obviously a necessity. But look through the typical college syllabus, and it's clear that most of the majors, not to mention classes, are a waste of time and money.
I would love to see that demonstrated empirically. I would love, like a chart, for example, like, oh, here, you can see 60% of courses are empirically a waste of time and money. It's anti-intellectualism, my friends. Hey, yo, feel free to get a degree if you're going to be a doctor, an engineer, something else that makes somebody bigger than you money. But, studying more about the world, pursuing your passions, increasing the general level of education in our society, sounds a little bit like a libcuck SJW waste of time, to be honest. We should be very, very critical of anti-intellectualism, not just because it's a hallmark of American conservatism, and I love to own the conservative cucks with facts over feels, but also because America is like actually getting fucking cucked right now. Like, we're the richest country on earth. Don't you think it's a little bit embarrassing that our education so consistently underperforms compared to other countries? Don't you think it's a little bit embarrassing that our economy right now depends on the immigration of high-skilled labor from places like India, China, and Europe? Don't get me wrong. Hey, I love all flavors. Bring them in here. But, it would be nice if they came here because they wanted to come here and didn't come here because America is full of dumb fucks and we have a shortage of educated professionals. One of the reasons why? Because of people like this, who are more interested in critiquing the idea of education than they are fixing the institutions. But hey, I don't know. Maybe he makes a good point soon.
So why do responsible adults who only want the best for their children and are usually cautious with their hard-earned money squander it on such a bad investment?
His face is so strange. Hey, just so you know, he says bad investment. All data I've ever seen in the subject indicates that college graduates make more on average than high school graduates by a significant amount, more than enough to compensate for the cost of tuition. So this idea that college is on average a bad investment is factually incorrect.
Why would they send their son or daughter to a school to learn to reject the values they, the parents, hold dear?
Wait, what? Reject the value the parents hold dear? Whoa! We kind of threw that one in from left field. What do you mean by that, Charlie Kirk?
On what planet does that make sense?
Oh, you're not going to explain it.
It doesn't. It's an old paradigm, and
you're just
we need to break it before it breaks
hope
us.
People take it at your word?
How do we do that? Here are two solutions that would...
He was just going to throw that in there, huh? Just... Why would they put their kids through such a bad investment? Why would they send them to a place where their values, their hard-earned American values, would be torn apart by them?
Go a long way to solving the problem. 1. Ask yourself if you really need to go to college.
So here's a personal point right here. I did not know what my passions were until I had the opportunity to study some stuff in community college. I would recommend everyone at least go to community college, which is, it's more affordable, you know. Usually like a year's tuition is in the 3 or 4 digits rather than in the low 5s. I didn't really realize what my passions were, you know. Initially, I thought I was into science, like the hard sciences, you know. And I feel, you know, I still have like a passing interest in them. It was only after encountering a diverse range of people, of meeting new people, of making new friends, of speaking with professors and intelligentsia that I realized I had a passion for the social sciences. And, you know, I mean, not to brag or anything, but with the education from my sociology degree, I am now, you know, I'd like to say holding down a respectable position in society if you're a Zoomer, and an utterly unrespectable one if you are not. But hey, I'm happy with where I am, okay? And I got that knowledge from community college, or at least I got my footing there. So this ask yourself if you really need to go to college shit, fuck off. Let people take the time to explore themselves. Let people take the time to determine what they're interested in. You have no idea whether a person who may be on the lower income side could want to go to college to become a graphic media, you know, designer and end up doing cool work for the hot new video games all the fans of PragerU like to play. You have no idea if someone could go to college and end up discovering a passion for medicine that leads them down a career path. They end up saving lives. You have no idea if somebody ends up going to college, never really makes much money off what they learn, but nonetheless values the experience and is really happy they went there. You don't know. So you shouldn't be telling people not to go to college. What you should be telling people is that the system needs reform, it's too expensive, and to vote for Bernie Sanders. That's what you should be telling people. Charlie Kirk.
Most of us go to college because it's simply expected that we do so. Our parents expect it. Our friends expect it.
Damn.
Plus,
Peer
it sounds
pressure.
like fun, a rite of passage, an escape from mom and dad and all their rules.
Yeah,
But
that is
none
true.
of that actually has...
Holy shit, his face is so fucked up. I'm sorry. No fucking body shaming here, guys. Man, oh man.
anything to do with getting an education or earning a living after you leave college. Maybe you're not the academic type.
Also, again, please do keep in mind that Charlie Kirk is literally a welfare baby boy fail son who dropped out of college and has made money running a program that has been kept alive by his wealthy parents and their benefactors. He has never worked a day in his life, and he has not earned a degree. So, hey, listen. I'm here for the working man, folks. Nothing wrong with not having a degree, okay? Maybe something a little bit wrong with being a rich fail son who drops out and then tells other people not to go to college because they're wasting their time.
What's wrong with that? Nothing. According to a Georgetown University study, there are 30 million jobs paying over $55,000 a year that don't require a college degree.
I would be, for one, that's less than 1/10 of the population. For two, I would be willing to bet that a lot of these are construction jobs or sewage jobs or other very demanding, highly physically oriented labor. Not all of them, of course, but I'd be willing to bet that's a big chunk of them. And pardon me for busting out my, my libcuck, my sociology degree. But I'd be willing to bet that a lot of these fields aren't that accessible to women either, both socially and physically. Highly demanding, field work, oil rigs, construction, these things, while, accessible to everyone, at least theoretically, we all know how the demographics of these work skew. So where does that leave a lot of women? Even if we were to assume that 30 million jobs is enough, and I don't believe that it is, then I don't think that means that there would be an even distribution of these jobs across the people who need them. Something worth considering. I mean, again, the goal is to make society better, right? We should be considering these questions. It's not just a matter of diversity and inclusion. It's a very real, starve or survive matter of making sure that wealth and resources go where they need to keep society functioning.
Learn a skill like welding or plumbing or a dozen other trades.
Hey, guys, really quickly, one of the ways in which America has stayed on top of the rest of the world economically, even in this era, is because we are evolving with the times and recognizing that service work and tech jobs are becoming more proportionately important. This idea that, like, everyone can just make a living with fucking plumbing and electricity is fucking ludicrous. It's the same meme as like everyone telling the new kid to go into engineering or to become a lawyer because there's good money in those fields, and now those fields are heavily oversaturated. This will never be the fucking solution. The solution to economic inequality will never be that there's just this one set of professions out there that everyone could just jump into and start making $50,000 a year. This is a fucking fantasy. Anyone who's thought about this for more than 30 seconds know this is true. You'll never be able to just say, oh, well, underemployment and people not being able to feed their family and pay their bills? Have they considered coding? Have they considered getting their welder's license? Have they considered becoming a plumber? This will never happen. This will never happen. Maybe for a few people it will. We're not talking about a few people. We're talking about millions of people, dozens of millions of people. According to the number of people that are currently underemployed in the United States of America, maybe around 100 million people. You want that many plumbers?
And you'll never be looking for a job. The jobs will be looking for you.
Again, this is just boomer talk. This is, again, coming from someone who's never worked a real job in his life, Charlie Kirk. This is just shit that boomers tell you. This is the exact same shit as them being like, well, you've got a minimum wage job. Why can't you afford to go to college? It's the exact same, like, completely divorced from reality, truisms that are delivered by people who haven't, like, ever struggled a day in their life.
We're talking $50 an hour or more, 6-figure income after 5 years, and no debt.
What the fuck are they talking about? I thought it was $55,000 a year or more. Now it's 6 figures? What the fuck are they talking? This is complete fantasy. This is why you should never take fucking advice on college from someone like Charlie fucking Kirk, someone who's never worked a day in his life. Because this is the kind of shit you're gonna, oh, well, if you get your plumber's license, actually, you'll basically be, a 1%er. Okay.
Consider the military. You learn essential skills, and again, no debt. Or go into sales.
You should not have to join the fucking military to be able to live a middle-class lifestyle in the richest country on earth. Just saying.
You don't need a sociology degree for that.
Hey! It helps. Mean.
If you are going to college, then have a goal and a plan to achieve it. Your college journey will cost you and or your parents a boatload of money.
It doesn't have to be that way. It's because there's an elite group of financiers and administrators at the top of the school boards who are siphoning money off of the process. That's why the tuition costs keep increasing, but the schools are deteriorating and the class sizes are getting bigger. Why do you think it's getting more and more expensive? It doesn't have to be that way, guys. We can change the system.
What are you going to get in return? Choose your courses with a practical mindset. Stay away from the silly stuff. The silly stuff like sociology, gender studies, racial studies, any kind of social science or anything that criticizes like capitalism or the worldview that is put forth by people like this. This is, by the way, this is the reason why they criticize the SJW field so much in conservative social spaces. It's not just because they think these degrees are superfluous, though they do think that in spite of evidence to the contrary. It's also because they feel challenged by these degrees. It's usually progressives who get into those fields, and it tends to be leftists who come out of them, or at least very progressive people. There are reasons for that. It turns out understanding society tends to make you more progressive and more left-leaning. Pardon me for unironically pulling the fucking, excuse me, reality has a liberal bias meme. I'm terribly sorry for pulling that one out on you, but like statistically speaking, it does seem like researching society, becoming more familiar with how it works, gives you a greater propensity towards being left-leaning.
So, I mean, I don't know. You can make from that what you want. A lot of conservatives say that it's leftist intelligentsia that have infiltrated higher education and are brainwashing your kids. I think that Charlie Kirk alluded to that earlier when he said, why would you send them to college and know they'll be taught everything that goes against your values? And if you're a Nazi, you believe it's the Jewish intelligentsia that have infiltrated universities. Like, there are so many wonderful flavors of conservative conspiracy theory around why more intelligent people end up being more left-leaning. It's just truly a mystery.
And if you really don't know why you're going to college, consider answer 2. Delay college for a year or longer.
This I don't necessarily think is a bad idea. If you feel, it's valid.
If more graduating high school seniors would do this, not jump into college immediately after high school, college curriculums would improve, and nonsense like safe spaces would disappear.
How? What is the relationship between these things? I guess because he's part of TPUSA, he has to throw in the bit. What is I have no idea what the relationship is between these things. You see, if you took a gap year, sociology and gender studies would be removed from the curriculum, and safe spaces will be, wait, what? Oh, by the way, in case you guys are curious, you know what safe spaces actually are? Because I've been to a few of them. I've never needed the services of one, but I know what they're like. A lot of people think that they're like these iron, padded rooms where there are these beefy, butch guards that keep men out or whatever. It's actually usually just a quiet study room. In the university that I went to, I think it was the Latino Cultural Center had one, and it was literally just a place where you could relax. There was just tables to do your homework or study, and it was quiet. And if someone was being a dick or harassing you or just being shitty, you could just tell a person at the desk and they'd be like, hey, can you fuck off? That was literally it. When conservatives imagine safe spaces, they imagine these insular padded spaces that are designed to keep people from having to think about their positions, to insulate them from the world. But in reality, that more aptly describes the PragerU YouTube channel, Facebook page, and website. What safe spaces actually genuinely are, is just that. A safe where you are space. You can just chill out. Super cozy. I've seen some at conventions too. You know what they are? They're usually just a break room in the back where you have a reasonable expectation to not be harassed. Which means more for if you're, a woman at a convention. Let me tell you, I've been to Anime Expo a few times. Let me tell you, folks, they had to make some changes. Whatever the case is, I know that a lot of people like to throw around safe space. They have no idea what the fuck it means, but that's what it means right there. We did it. We found out what it means.
Why? Because students who had spent a year or longer in the real world wouldn't put up with it.
Guys, you know how boomers are all like, once you get your first paycheck, you'll drop socialism. You'll get more conservative when you're older. This is literally that. This is boomer speak. This is, once you've been exposed to the real world, silly things like liberal arts will fall to the wayside. It's boomer speak. Guys, Charlie Kirk is an honorary boomer. You have to be on the lookout, okay? Listen, delete boomer messages, block boomer accounts, report boomer posts. We have to be on the lookout for boomer infiltration, okay? These people are a threat to our way of life, all right?
Get a job. Any job for a year before starting college.
Also, I know that, again, Charlie Kirk has never worked a day in his life, but getting a job just for a year is not always a good idea for some people, and getting a job within a year is sometimes not that easy. Some places have really horrible job markets. Now, if you're a wealthy fail son, you can get checks from mommy and daddy anywhere in the country. So I can understand why Charlie Kirk might be confused.
What's the big rush anyway? 1 year isn't going to make a difference as to whether or not you succeed in life, but waiting tables or stacking boxes or whatever you do for a year will almost certainly change your attitude about a lot of things.
What is this? What is this Arbeitsmarktfrei shit? After you've been forced through 1 year of menial peasant slave wage labor, you'll be a lot more happy about your place in society, bucko. What the fuck am I looking at?
Like how hard it is to earn $1 and how easy it is for the government to take that dollar away.
Yeah, exactly. Boomer! Boomer fucking memes! It's boomer memes! Once tax season first comes around, you'll go conservative right away, bucko. I bet I form all of my political and social and economic opinions around how frustrating it feels to have a tiny portion of my check taken away to maintain the infrastructure of the wealthiest country on the planet. I'm really fucking angry over this, and you should be too. Nice meme. We all know you don't pay your own taxes, Charlie Kirk. We all know that your mommy and daddy pays them for you because you don't have an independent income.
You will also develop a new appreciation for the privilege of going to college.
Damn.
And you'll be much more likely to be immune to the BS. Don't be a passive investor as a student or a parent. Your education is too expensive and too important to be left to Mr. College. He might have your money. Don't give him your mind.
Damn, they even put him in the corner where I was, fucking calling me out.
I'm Charlie Kirk, founder and president of Turning Point USA for Prager University.
Why of all people would they choose him? Why of all people would they choose fucking Charlie Kirk to do the thing on college? Jesus Christ. Guys, you don't need real university. You need Prager University. The top comment, literally the top comment, the best lesson a gender studies graduate will get is that gender studies is a scam. It's all boomer memes. You can get it all from Facebook. I'd be willing to bet, I'd bet $1,000 that if I pinned that fucker down to conversation, they couldn't even tell me what gender studies studies. They couldn't even fucking do it. They couldn't even begin to list the actual fields in which things like gender studies are applicable. Listen, whatever the case is, listen, my rambling aside, okay? Listen. Hey, listen up. Hey, are you looking? Hey, fucking listen. There are a lot of problems in university. It's not right for all people. It's really not. But the reason why it's not right for all people is because you're all individuals. Some of you have different life circumstances. I don't know what's going on in your life. Maybe you really can't afford to go to college. Or maybe you have another thing nailed down or other opportunities you want to explore. All of those things are fine. If you decide you don't want to go to university, that's totally within your right. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Do it because it's in your interest. Don't do it because billionaire-funded fail sons are telling you that college and university is worthless and actually you can make $1 bajillion by just being a plumber anyway. Make your choice for the right reasons. Okay? That's it. That's it. Okay? It's a tough personal choice. I can't make it for you. Okay? Do some fucking thinking on your own. Jesus Christ. Nice. You know, I didn't cough a single time that entire fucking take. Genuinely asking, what is gender studies specifically studying? Okay, so a large component of gender studies is highly theoretical. It discusses gender theory and just the broader sort of academic concepts of how gender functions in society. These things are highly applicable in the fields of sociology, social research, statistics, marketing, advertising, NGO work, civil service, and all forms of like art creation. These tend to overlap pretty. Oh, law. I completely forgot. Fucking law. These things tend to overlap heavily with a bunch of fields. There are also more practical things, more historical elements, women and men interactions with society, that sort of thing. Usually a gender studies degree corresponds with a bunch of other programs. There's a heavy amount of overlap with sociology, history, linguistics, and law. All of which have, again, broad applicability in a wide variety of fields. But I don't even believe, mind you, that a field should need to be profitable for it to be valuable. I mean, I don't know if you guys have forgotten, but philosophy is the bedrock of civilization. I mean, modern civilization is more or less built off the Enlightenment. The ideas that we base society off of, these are the products of philosophers. Getting a philosophy degree has not been a good monetary investment for like fucking centuries, okay? But it's still valuable.